the 5 things seniors must rely on instead of family for happiness, health, and peace. Easy humanly good English. As the years accumulate, a profound realization often settles in, bringing with it one of life's most challenging truths. The intricate web of emotional and practical support we once naturally expected from family frequently undergoes a fundamental transformation, gradually diminishing, shifting, or in some instances, even receding entirely. It's an inevitable evolution of life where adult children become engrossed in their own demanding careers and burgeoning families, siblings begin to contend with their own emerging health complexities, and friends, through the passage of time and circumstance, may relocate, succumb to illness, or sadly depart from this world. In this landscape of shifting relationships and evolving realities, a crucial question invariably surfaces. Who, in the deepest sense, is genuinely and reliably present for me? This query, if unaddressed, possesses the potential to strike with the force of an unforeseen impediment, leaving one feeling profoundly adrift and unprepared. However, there is an empowering counter-narrative, an inherent potential for readiness that can be cultivated. Indeed, it is entirely within one's capacity to meticulously construct a life, particularly as one navigates the decades of their 70s and beyond, where a deep-seated sense of strength, unwavering groundedness, and unshakable resolve prevails, irrespective of who remains steadfast or who, by life's design, must eventually move on. This perspective is not born of resentment or bitterness, but rather from a profound, cultivated wisdom. The most authentic forms of support, those truly dependable anchors in the quiet hours of the night or during solitary afternoons, surprisingly often do not originate from conventional family structures. Instead, they emerge from 5 distinct and potent sources, resources that, regrettably, many individuals tend to overlook or postpone, acknowledging until the opportune moment for proactive cultivation has regrettably passed. These 5 pillars represent the true, unyielding bedrock upon which a serene, autonomous, and deeply satisfying life in one's later years is founded. They manifest as quiet yet immensely powerful modalities of self-support, consistently reliable, immune to the subtle erosion of distance, and fundamentally incapable of fostering the debilitating sensation of being a burden on anyone else. Embracing these insights has the potential to fundamentally reshape one's understanding of the aging process itself, and to awaken a profound awareness of the dormant power that resides within each individual. One of the cornerstones of this self-reliant existence is physical mobility. When an individual reaches the seasoned expanse of their 70s, the invaluable capacity to move with unhindered freedom, to navigate daily life independently, and to exist without a constant dependence on external assistance transcends the mere act of locomotion. It embodies the very essence of freedom itself, a testament to one's enduring autonomy and dignity. In myriad significant ways, it stands as arguably the single most critical form of intrinsic support one can possess, entirely unburdened by reliance on another person. This robust physical mobility translates into the profound simplicity of rising from bed each morning unaided, the comforting ability to prepare a nourishing, warm meal for oneself, to confidently reach for cherished items stored on a high cabinet shelf, or to simply step outside the front door to inhale the crisp, rejuvenating morning air without the necessity of waiting for someone else's presence or helping hand. This is not merely convenience. It is a tangible expression of power, an assertion of profound control over the trajectory of one's own life. Crucially, it serves as a subtle yet immensely potent form of emotional reinforcement that is rarely explicitly acknowledged. The deep sense of confidence it instills, coupled with a significant reduction in underlying anxieties and fears. When the body retains its functional agility, the pervasive fear of becoming a burden to others naturally diminishes. It's imperative to recognize that sustaining mobility beyond 70 does not necessitate the pursuit of Olympic-level athleticism or acrobatic feats. Rather, it focuses on the preservation of joint health, the meticulous maintenance of balance, and the consistent strengthening of muscles to ensure unwavering trust in one's own limbs. Seemingly minor consistent habits, such as incorporating gentle stretching into a daily morning routine, engaging in a brisk 15-minute walk, or utilizing light resistance bands, can collectively yield transformative results. It is a commitment that is never too late to initiate. The misconception that a decline in mobility is an inevitable consequence of aging is precisely that, a misconception. In reality, the more consistently one engages in movement, the more tenaciously the body strives to maintain its capacity for motion. The body, in its remarkable adaptability, responds far more acutely to one's actions and habits than it does to the chronological progression of age. From a psychological vantage point, robust physical mobility acts as a powerful antidote to a pervasive and deep-seated fear that many older adults silently carry: the fear of profound helplessness. When the physical self becomes increasingly dependent, there is often a corresponding and disconcerting contraction of the mental landscape. Self-doubt begins to insinuate itself, planning for social outings diminishes, travel opportunities are reluctantly foregone, and invitations are politely declined, not due to a genuine lack of interest, but rather due to an underlying apprehension about one's ability to manage the logistics or physical demands. This is not merely aging, it is a gradual, insidious shrinking of one's world, a trajectory that is absolutely avoidable. Consider Harold, a vibrant 78-year-old gentleman encountered frequently during morning strolls in a Florida park. Each morning, without fail, he completes his determined laps, leaning gently on his cane, come rain or shine. When asked about the unwavering commitment behind his routine, his response was both simple and profound. "The moment I cease walking is the precise moment I begin waiting for someone else to assist me, and I refuse to wait. I choose to live." His mobility, though not flawless, is uniquely his own, and it bestows upon him an invaluable sense of inner peace. He continues to drive himself to the local grocery store, visits cherished friends on Sundays, and ascends the 3 steps to his front porch with an undeniable sense of pride. Not because accommodations were made for him, but because he steadfastly refused to surrender his capacity for movement. The undeniable truth is that even a modest, consistent investment in one's physical well-being yields a profound return, a level of personal freedom that often goes unappreciated until its absence is keenly felt. While family members may not always be available for transport to appointments or to provide immediate assistance after an unexpected fall, the cultivation of strong legs, a stable core, and reliable balance significantly postpones the onset of such dependencies. This proactive self-care enables the preservation of independence far longer than many might anticipate, and it is precisely this brand of self-generated support that cultivates an enduring confidence, not merely physically but profoundly emotionally as well. Thus, if feelings of stiffness or weakness have begun to emerge, it is not a call for self-judgment, but an invitation to begin precisely where one stands. A conscious effort to move slightly more today than yesterday, incorporating stretches while awaiting the morning coffee, or adding just one extra lap down the hallway. These seemingly minor efforts coalesce into a robust personal foundation. A foundation that accompanies every step of life's journey, irrespective of who else walks alongside. Secondly, financial simplicity emerges as a formidable source of support. As one enters their 70s, genuine peace of mind is not fundamentally derived from the sheer magnitude of funds held in bank accounts. Rather, it blossoms from an intimate understanding of one's essential needs, an honest assessment of what one can comfortably manage, and the acquired wisdom to live purposefully within those means, entirely liberated from the debilitating grip of fear or shame. Financial simplicity, in its essence, represents one of the most robust and dependable forms of support available. And notably, it is one of the very few aspects of life that can be fully and autonomously controlled without requiring any external intervention or assistance. The reality is that convoluted, financial arrangements invariably transform into significant emotional burdens. The act of navigating multiple complex accounts, the relentless pursuit of tracking every single subscription, or the overwhelming sensation of being ensnared by excessive credit card debt is far more than mere stress. It is a corrosive force that systematically erodes one's fundamental sense of stability. And in the later stages of life, stability transcends mere comfort. It becomes inextricably linked to a profound sense of security and, in some cases, even survival. For regardless of the depth of familial love, it possesses no power to miraculously dissolve financial disarray. However, a meticulously crafted, clear, and unburdened financial plan can provide unwavering support through even the most turbulent patches, akin to a steadfast cane offering stability for the soul. The crucial insight often missed is that simplifying one's financial life does not equate to a surrender of control. Paradoxically, it represents a profound acquisition of control. It is the embracing of a modest, appropriate lifestyle tailored precisely to one's authentic needs and desires, rather than bowing to external expectations. It is the liberating freedom to acquire what is truly necessary without the gnawing anxiety of second-guessing every single expenditure. This process mirrors the act of decluttering a disorganized closet. Once order is established, the mind finds an unparalleled sense of repose. Psychologically, financial simplicity systematically dismantles one of the most pervasive sources of late-life anxiety, the specter of uncertainty. A multitude of older adults lie awake in the quiet of the night, their minds plagued by questions such as, will my savings endure longer than I do? Or, what if I can no longer afford the necessary care in the future? These existential financial queries often haunt them with greater intensity than any physical discomfort. Yet, when one possesses a crystal-clear understanding of their financial flows, when spending becomes a deliberate and intentional act, and when fundamental needs are met without undue strain or compromise, the result is demonstrably improved sleep, a more confident bearing, and a profound sense of inner steadiness. Consider the wisdom gleaned from Lorraine, a 74-year-old widow who dedicated her working life to the quiet serenity of a library. Following the profound loss of her husband, she courageously engaged with a financial counselor and made the deliberate decision to downsize her life. This involved transitioning to a smaller home, thereby reducing her overall bills, consolidating to a single credit card, and systematically canceling all unused subscriptions. She candidly shared, "I used to experience genuine apprehension opening my mail. Now I approach every envelope with a clear mind and a calm heart." She even initiated a small, dedicated savings jar, affectionately labeled Freedom Fund, into which she would deposit modest sums, perhaps $10 here and there. This simple act served as a powerful, consistent reminder that she, not her money, was unequivocally in command. Lorraine's actions were not miraculous. They were the product of conscious choice, a quiet yet profoundly deliberate decision to streamline her financial existence, allowing her to prioritize the richness of living over the anxieties of mere survival. The most empowering facet of this approach is that when one's finances are simplified, the reliance on external assistance for their management dramatically decreases. There is no longer the pressing need to contact a son or daughter for every billing query, nor to wait for a family member to meticulously decipher complex financial fine print. The individual is empowered to handle these matters autonomously, confidently assuming the role of their own financial captain. Therefore, for those currently feeling overwhelmed by the complexities of their finances, the imperative is to pause and take a deep breath. This feeling is not unique, and it is crucial to understand that immense wealth is not a prerequisite. What is truly essential is clarity. This entails systematically canceling unnecessary services, consolidating accounts where feasible, and meticulously tracking both income and expenditures. The objective is to render one's financial situation so lucid and straightforward that it could be effortlessly explained to a friend over a casual cup of coffee. For ultimately, genuine peace resides not within the cold impartiality of numbers, but within the warm certainty of knowing. Thirdly, a consistent health routine stands as an indispensable pillar of self-support. At 70 and beyond, the most potent ally in one's journey through later life is not found in the solicitude of children, the proximity of neighbors, or even the expertise of medical professionals. It is unequivocally one's own daily health regimen. This does not refer to fleeting fitness fads or exorbitantly priced supplements, but rather to the aggregation of small, unwavering actions consistently repeated each day, meticulously designed to maintain both body and mind in optimal working order. This cultivation of self-reliance is the very crucible in which true independence is forged. For when the physical body feels steady and reliable, a corresponding and profound sense of steadiness permeates the spirit. It is a common human tendency to defer attention to health until a crisis manifests. But such an approach is akin to futilely attempting to patch a severely leaking roof in the midst of a violent thunderstorm. Reactive, inefficient, and perpetually trapping one in a cycle of crisis management. A consistent routine fundamentally reverses this dynamic, placing the individual firmly in a proactive stance of command. When daily life incorporates a morning walk, adequate hydration, regular stretching, timely adherence to medication schedules, and the consumption of nutrient-dense foods that genuinely fuel the body, rather than merely satiating momentary cravings, one is actively establishing a deeply respectful rhythm for oneself. This established rhythm then serves as an internal gyroscope, steadfastly guiding one forward even on days when motivation wanes and the body feels unexpectedly heavy. There exists a latent, formidable power inherent in routine, a power that becomes particularly amplified and crucial in the later years of life. Psychologically, well-established routines effectively diminish anxiety by liberating the mind from the draining burden of decision fatigue. The internal debate of "should I undertake this task today?" is eliminated. Instead, the action simply flows from established habit. This predictability inherently cultivates a profound sense of stability, which in turn nurtures a robust and unwavering confidence. And it is precisely this confidence that acts as a powerful prophylactic against the debilitating sensation of becoming a burden to others. It is the inner voice that confidently declares, "I am still capable. I am still engaged in life's motion, and I remain wholly responsible for my own well-being." Consider the illuminating example of Frank, an 81-year-old retired electrician, a man of quiet determination. Each morning, precisely at 6 a.m., his ritual commences. A carefully prepared cup of green tea, followed by 15 minutes of invigorating chair stretches, the timely administration of his morning medications, and then a purposeful 30-minute walk around his neighborhood block. This routine, he once confided, is observed with unwavering fidelity, regardless of the weather's caprice. He explained, "It's not merely about the physical exercise, it's about a daily reaffirmation to myself that I still profoundly matter." This insight resonated deeply, for it underscored that Frank's meticulously observed routine was not fundamentally about achieving peak physical fitness. It was intrinsically linked to his identity, a visceral connection to the resilient core of himself that steadfastly refuses to yield or diminish, merely because the years continue to accumulate. An often underappreciated aspect of establishing a consistent routine is its profound impact on reducing the need for external assistance. Individuals with well-structured routines are inherently less prone to forgetting critical medications, significantly reduce their risk of falls, and experience a diminished sense of disorientation throughout the day. It is akin to meticulously constructing a sturdy, well-trodden path through a dense, foggy forest. Even when external circumstances render one's surroundings unclear or uncertain, one's feet instinctively know the way, having traversed it with consistent regularity. This is authentic support, a resource that depends entirely on one's own initiative and commitment. Naturally, some days present greater challenges than others. Joints may ache with unexpected intensity, energy levels might inexplicably dip, or inclement weather could necessitate remaining indoors. These variations are an inherent part of the human experience and are perfectly acceptable. The essence of a routine lies not in its rigid perfection, but in its underlying consistency and adaptability. A brief walk around the confines of one's home, a series of deliberate, deep breaths by an open window, or the simple act of consuming a full glass of water before retiring for the night. These are not Herculean tasks. Yet, in their collective repetition, they form an invisible yet robust safety net that gently catches, steadfastly supports, and gracefully propels one forward through life's unpredictable currents. Therefore, should one feel momentarily stalled or acknowledge a recent lapse in established routines, the imperative is to begin small. Focus on cultivating just one new habit, initiating a single deliberate action. For with every instance of showing up for oneself, one unequivocally demonstrates that they are, in fact, their own most dedicated and capable caregiver. And that truly is a form of intrinsic support that no external force can ever diminish or strip away. Fourthly, emotional resilience emerges as an undeniably invaluable form of support, one whose significance only deepens and amplifies with the inexorable march of time. Its worth transcends even the tangible security of financial assets or the undeniable importance of physical health. For when one's emotional fortitude is robust and unwavering, they possess the inherent capacity to navigate and withstand nearly any life challenge. This includes the pervasive sting of loneliness, the profound weight of grief, the inevitable experience of setbacks, and indeed, even the often painful disappointments that can at times emanate from within the family unit itself. Emotional resilience is the inherent strength that allows an individual to sit comfortably in moments of quiet solitude without succumbing to a crippling sense of emptiness, and to confront profound hardship head-on without being utterly overwhelmed or psychologically dismantled. By the time one reaches the wisdom of 70, life has almost certainly delivered its share of profound losses, perhaps even a multitude of them. The passing of a beloved spouse, the gradual, often imperceptible drifting away of children into their own demanding lives, or the undeniable reality of declining physical health. A common yet ultimately flawed misconception. Many people harbor is the belief that emotional strength equates to an absence of sadness. This is a fundamental misinterpretation. True emotional resilience is characterized by the capacity to experience deep feelings, to acknowledge and engage with sorrow, pain, and loss, but crucially without allowing those emotions to utterly submerge or drown the self. It is the cultivated art of allowing sorrow to flow through one's being, to be felt and processed, rather than permitting it to take root and fester within the psyche. This profound brand of inner strength is not born from a performative pretense that everything is perfectly fine. Instead, it originates from an honest, compassionate internal dialogue that acknowledges, this pain is real and intense, but I possess the inherent capacity to navigate and handle it. The empowering truth is that with each instance of courageously facing and sitting with emotional pain, rather than instinctively fleeing from it, one incrementally diminishes their fear of what future challenges may bring. This is an immensely powerful and truly liberating process. It signifies a profound shift from relying on others to shoulder one's sorrows to acquiring the inner wisdom and capacity to hold that sorrow oneself, preventing it from utterly fracturing one's spirit. Consider the poignant narrative of Eileen, a 77-year-old woman who, 5 years prior, endured the profound loss of her beloved husband and now navigates life independently. When asked during a conversation, "What sustains you through the particularly difficult days?" her response was both simple and deeply revealing. "Every evening I light a small candle, not for religious observance, but because it serves as a quiet, consistent reminder that I am still here. Some nights I allow myself to weep freely. Other nights I find myself laughing, but without fail I always whisper to myself, 'You made it through today.'" This small yet deeply meaningful ritual represents her unique and courageous method of honoring her pain, acknowledging its validity without ever permitting it to entirely consume her. That, precisely, is the essence of resilience. Moreover, emotional resilience extends beyond merely surviving significant tragedies. It encompasses the adept management of life's more mundane, yet still impactful, disappointments. When a son or daughter fails to call as expected, when a cherished friend relocates to a distant place, or when the stark reality of no longer being able to perform activities once effortlessly accomplished sets in. If one were to crumble with every subtle shift or change, life itself would quickly become too painful to genuinely enjoy. However, when fortified with robust emotional strength, a profound sense of freedom is acquired. One is no longer held captive by the choices of other individuals or the capricious, inevitable changes of the external world. Instead, an inner steadiness prevails, born from the conscious choice of how to respond to life's vicissitudes. Psychologically, the consistent practice of emotional resilience quite literally rewires the brain. It cultivates a calmer, more deliberate pace of thought. It educates the nervous system to avoid automatic overreaction. It systematically builds an unwavering confidence in one's capacity to confront uncertainty and still emerge intact and well. And in the advanced stages of life, when so much feels inherently uncertain, this cultivated emotional strength stands as one of the most precious and enduring gifts one can bestow upon themselves. For those pondering how to embark on the journey of building emotional resilience, the initial and vital step is awareness. This involves engaging in self-talk, characterized by kindness and compassion. allowing one's feelings to be authentically acknowledged as real, yet exercising a gentle discipline to prevent them from spiraling into unmanaged chaos. The establishment of small grounding routines, such as regularly journaling, taking contemplative walks in nature, or simply immersing oneself in beloved music, can provide crucial anchors. And, perhaps most importantly, a consistent self-recollection that one has unequivocally survived every single hard thing up to the present moment. This is not mere happenstance. It is an undeniable testament to one's inherent and accumulated strength. So, while familial bonds may, at times, attenuate, and physical health may occasionally falter, if one's emotional core remains robust and steadfast, they will continue to stand clear-eyed, with a steady heart, and deeply rooted in the quiet, profound knowledge that they are in and of themselves truly enough. Finally, and with profound significance, a personal code of values serves as an unwavering anchor. There is an intrinsic and deeply empowering force that emanates from possessing one's own meticulously defined set of guiding values, a force that becomes particularly potent and indispensable after reaching the 7th decade of life. In a world characterized by incessant flux, where external circumstances frequently shift, where even trusted individuals can at times fall short of expectations, and where the future can often feel inherently uncertain, one's personal code transcends mere principles. It becomes an internal, immutable compass. This compass consistently articulates who one fundamentally is, what truly holds significance in life, and, most crucially, how one resolutely chooses to live, entirely irrespective of the actions or opinions of others. All too often, individuals reaching their senior years find themselves experiencing a perplexing loss of direction, a consequence of having spent a lifetime operating under the pervasive influence and expectations of others. They diligently fulfilled roles as the exemplary parent, the loyal employee, the supportive spouse. However, once these defining roles gradually diminish or cease to be the primary drivers of daily existence, a poignant question invariably emerges. What now? It is at this critical juncture that a deeply ingrained personal code courageously steps forward, declaring with quiet authority, "This is fundamentally who I am, and this is precisely how I choose to conduct my life, utterly regardless of external scrutiny or observation." A robust and well-articulated personal code might encompass values such as unyielding honesty, pervasive kindness, steadfast responsibility, the deliberate embrace of simplicity, or an unwavering commitment to self-respect. These are not values designed to be outwardly flashy or to impress others. Their profound significance is entirely internal, existing for the individual alone, and therein lies their immense power. When one consciously chooses to live in accordance with their own deeply held values, the intrinsic need for external approval systematically dissipates. The relentless pursuit of validation from others ceases. The unsettling feeling of being rattled or perturbed by dissenting opinions diminishes, because one's inner peace is no longer contingent upon the agreement or acceptance of anyone else. Consider the insightful perspective of Howard, a remarkable gentleman encountered in his early 80s. He once articulated his personal philosophy with striking clarity. "I live by 5 simple rules. I always speak the truth. I never waste food. I diligently return anything I borrow. I am quick to forgive. And I ensure I sleep each night with an entirely clear conscience. That is all." And with an unwavering consistency, Howard lives every single day by this self-imposed code. He is not a man of vast wealth. He does not boast an expansive family network. Yet he carries himself with an unmistakable, quiet dignity that is profoundly rare in its authenticity. The reason is simple yet profound. He possesses an absolute certainty of who he is. His personal code serves as his unyielding anchor in the often turbulent seas of life. Psychologically, cultivating a strong personal code significantly contributes to a reduction in regret. It streamlines decision-making processes, rendering choices simpler and more congruent. One no longer lies awake in the stillness of the night, tormented by questions such as, "Did I make the correct choice?" Because the definition of the right thing has already been internally established and consistently applied. Moreover, it systematically builds a profound sense of internal stability. When life inevitably presents unexpected challenges or curveballs, one is significantly less prone to succumbing to panic. Instead, the immediate guiding thought becomes, what do my core values instruct me to do in this situation? And that internal guidance system becomes an unfailing compass. In fact, numerous studies conducted within the field of elder psychology consistently demonstrate that seniors who meticulously live by a consistent and deeply held set of personal values report markedly higher levels of life satisfaction, significantly lower instances of anxiety, and demonstrate superior cognitive health outcomes. The underlying reason is clear: clarity of purpose invariably begets an inner calm. When one's life possesses an undeniable through line, a robust thread of integrity woven into its very fabric, it fosters an unparalleled sense of groundedness. But what holds even greater significance is this undeniable truth: one's values are uniquely and inherently one's own. No external individual needs to concur with them. There is no obligation to justify or explain them. The only imperative is to consistently and authentically live them. This precisely is what imbues them with their formidable power. Whether it manifests as the simple act of rising early to greet the nascent sun, an unyielding refusal to engage in gossip, the consistent practice of generosity even when personal resources are scarce, or maintaining an insatiable curiosity about the ever-unfolding tapestry of the world. Whatever values genuinely resonate, with one's deepest soul, the wisdom lies in holding steadfastly to them. Allow them to serve as your enduring carriers through life. For when one can gaze into the mirror at 75 or 85 years of age and confidently affirm, I have lived my life in absolute accordance with what I profoundly believe, that truly is the pinnacle of success. That is the embodiment of authentic self-respect. And no one, not one's children, not the pervasive dictates of society, not even the relentless passage of time itself, possesses the capacity to strip that away. It is the purest form of self-generated support, one that intrinsically never wanes, because it resides eternally within. Ultimately, this profound life journey is not predicated on being universally remembered by everyone else, but rather on cultivating a profound and enduring peace within oneself. A meticulously crafted personal code of values is the ultimate purveyor of this inner peace. It is not outwardly boisterous. It does not boast of its existence. Yet it steadfastly holds one upright, quietly and faithfully, even as everything else in the external world undergoes its inevitable transformations. In the reflective quietude that accompanies advancing age, a profound internal contemplation often commences, prompting us to truly discern who, in the deepest sense, remains steadfastly by our side when the external lights dim and the bustling days surrender to a gentle stillness. The answer, surprisingly, is not always aligned with our initial assumptions or long-held expectations. The very pillars of our conventional support, family, friends, and even the reliable vessel of our own bodies, can, with the relentless march of time, inevitably become less consistently dependable. Yet, this evolving reality is far from a sentence to profound emptiness. Paradoxically, the further we progress into life's later chapters, the more acutely we recognize that some of the most robust and unwavering supports we have ever possessed were never, in actuality, external to ourselves. They resided, dormant and potent, deep within our own being, patiently awaiting our conscious acknowledgement and deliberate reliance. Perhaps this manifests as the quiet, enduring strength forged through daily routines, a comforting, predictable rhythm that profoundly reassures both mind and body of their safety, their inherent groundedness. Or perhaps it is found in the simple yet profound joy derived from small, personally meaningful pursuits, activities that imbue the passing hours with a sense of purpose and significance, even when no other soul is present. These are not mere pastimes. They are, in essence, vital lifelines that connect us intimately to our own unique identity and inherent purpose. Then there is the profound importance of physical self-maintenance. Something as seemingly elemental as consistently fortifying one's leg strength and consciously maintaining a balanced nutritional intake can delineate the crucial difference between unwavering independence and creeping dependence. It is an often unwelcome truth, but one that paradoxically offers the greatest degree of personal control over the trajectory of our aging process. To diligently care for oneself, therefore, is not an act of vanity. It is an act of profound, cultivated wisdom. We have also delved into the paramount significance of nurturing a sharp mind, actively fostering a spirit of unending curiosity, consistently engaging with the dynamic world around us, and remaining vibrantly alive within the expansive realm of ideas and continuous change. When the intricate machinery of our brain is perpetually stimulated and allowed to grow, a corresponding and robust sense of personal relevance and intrinsic resilience blossoms. One does not simply fade into obscurity, rather one actively adapts, gracefully evolves, and even surprises oneself with newly discovered capacities. And perhaps the most quietly powerful of all these tenets is the cultivation of a personal code, an immutable set of deeply held values that unequivocally define who you are, utterly irrespective of who enters or exits the intricate tapestry of your life. This internal code serves as your unwavering compass, your protective armor, and ultimately the profound mechanism that allows you to navigate the complexities of aging with unparalleled dignity and to face the inevitable transition of death with a deeply cultivated sense of peace. So, what is the ultimate unifying message woven through these profound insights? It is this: the most fundamentally reliable support system an individual can cultivate after the age of 70 may not manifest as a person, but rather as a meticulously crafted mindset, an intentional way of living rooted in self-sustaining habits, deeply held beliefs, and consistent, empowering practices that collaboratively conspire to keep you steady, grounded, and resilient, no matter what unpredictable currents the external world throws your way. It is, at its core, about the transformative process of becoming your own unshakable foundation. For when you possess the inherent capacity to stand strong and resolute alone, a true and profound sense of isolation never truly takes root. That profound brand of inner strength is not merely comforting, it is utterly liberating. As a gentle invitation to introspection, take a quiet moment, perhaps as these thoughts settle, and consider: which of these vital supports do I already possess and actively cultivate? And critically, which one am I inspired to begin nurturing and building, starting today? There is no need for grand, immediate gestures. Profound and lasting changes invariably commence with a singular, quiet decision, meticulously made within the sacred privacy of one's own heart.